At 9:27 a.m., Iranian state television announced explosions in Tehran. Not protests, not an accident, explosions. Within minutes, confirmation followed. American and Israeli forces had launched what President Donald Trump called major combat operations. Multiple Iranian cities, Tehran, Isfahan, Kermanshah, Karaj, were hit. Roads near Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's compound were sealed off. That wasn't symbolic, that was pressure at the top. Washington's objectives were clear: degrade missile capabilities, target naval assets, disrupt Iran-backed groups, and halt nuclear development. Clean, strategic, direct. But here's the rule of power politics. When you hit the core of a regime, expect the core to punch back. And Iran didn't waste time. Within hours, missiles were airborne. Around 10 a.m. local time, sirens began screaming across northern Israel, then central Israel, then Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Ballistic missiles and drones surged in waves. The Israel Defense Forces activated every defensive layer. Iron Dome for short-range threats, Arrow for ballistic intercepts. Interceptors streaked upward like flaming javelins. Explosions echoed as impacts were neutralized mid-air. Hospitals moved underground. Schools shut down. Civilians sheltered. But Israel was only the first chapter. Iran widened the battlefield. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the forward headquarters of U.S. Central Command, came under fire. Patriot batteries lit up over Doha. Interceptions were reported. Shockwaves rattled buildings. Then came Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait. Then Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, home to US F-35 stealth fighters. In Abu Dhabi, debris from an intercepted missile killed a civilian, one casualty, and the strategic became personal. Then Iran went bigger. Naval Support Activity Bahrain, headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet, was targeted. Sirens wailed across Manama. Smoke rose near the Jafar district. Targeting the Fifth Fleet isn't symbolic. It's a direct challenge to maritime dominance in the Gulf. And just when it seemed the perimeter was defined, reports surfaced of strikes near Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan and explosions near Erbil in northern Iraq. Interceptors fired over Riyadh. Within hours, Qatar, Kuwait, the UAE, Bahrain, and Iraq closed their airspace. Commercial aviation grounded, military radars locked, the region on edge. Here's the strategic brilliance, or danger, depending on your perspective. Iran didn't just retaliate, it redistributed risk. By targeting U.S. installations across multiple countries, Tehran signaled that hosting American forces carries consequences. That shifts the political calculus for every Gulf government overnight. Meanwhile, U.S. naval vessels repositioned from Bahrain. Aircraft movements were observed leaving Al Udeid. Embassies instructed citizens to shelter in place. Not panic, preparation. Because escalation is a ladder, and both sides were choosing how many rungs to climb. Then there's the economic front. Oil tankers began avoiding the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway carrying roughly 20% of the world's oil supply. You don't need to close Hormuz to rattle markets. You just need to make it uncertain. Prices twitch, insurance spikes, governments call emergency meetings. Add to that the Houthis in Yemen announcing renewed attacks on shipping and Israeli targets, and suddenly this isn't a bilateral crisis. It's a regional web. Now let's talk doctrine. Iran's response appears calibrated. Strong enough to demonstrate capability, wide enough to spread the cost, measured enough, at least initially, to avoid mass American casualties that would trigger overwhelming retaliation. That's escalation with guardrails. On the American side, there was no immediate declaration of full-scale war, no public announcement of ground invasion plans. That's not weakness, that's strategic pacing. Because once you shift from missile exchanges to sustained conventional war with a nation of 90 million and deep regional networks, there's no easy exit ramp. Inside Iran, the calculus is equally complex. Months of internal unrest have pressured the regime. External attack can unify public sentiment. A rapid counterstrike reinforces strength domestically while projecting resolve externally. But prolonged conflict strains resources. Missiles cost money. Air defenses aren't infinite. Logistics wear down. And here's the bigger shift. We are witnessing the normalization of direct state-on-state missile exchanges. No proxies, no deniability. Ballistic trajectories plotted openly across borders. That changes deterrence math. Because once both sides believe they can strike and absorb strikes without triggering immediate total war, the psychological barrier lowers. That's the danger zone, not instant catastrophe. Sustained brinkmanship. And brinkmanship is a game where miscalculation is the real threat. Right now, air defenses remain active. Casualty assessments are ongoing. Leaders are recalculating. This is the most significant direct military confrontation between the United States and Iran in decades. The key question isn't who struck harder. It's whether deterrence holds. Does this stabilize after a show of force? Or does one more missile, one more casualty, one more misread signal push it further? Modern warfare isn't just about firepower. It's about perception, pacing, and political will. The first explosion grabs headlines. The next decision shapes history. If you want sharp strategic breakdowns of conflicts as they unfold, no fluff, no panic, just clear analysis, make sure you're locked in. Because in a world where missiles move faster than headlines, staying informed isn't optional. It's strategic.